The alarm bells rang through the UES Liberty as Captain Jake Harrison rushed to the bridge. His boots hit the metal floor hard as he moved through the narrow corridors of the exploration ship. The Liberty had been traveling through deep space for 2 months, looking for new worlds and resources for Earth. "What's the situation?" Jake asked as he took his place in the captain's chair. The bridge was busy with activity as his crew worked at their stations. Amy Carter looked up from her navigation console. Her face was pale with worry. "Captain, we picked up a distress signal about an hour ago. It's coming from somewhere in this system, but it's not like anything we've heard before." Jake frowned. The Liberty was far from any known shipping routes. No human ships should be out here. "Play the signal." The speakers filled with a strange sound. It was not quite music and not quite speech. The pattern repeated over and over, but there was something desperate about it. Something that made Jake's skin crawl. "Any idea what it is?" Jake asked. Ryan Brooks, the science officer, shook his head. "The language is completely unknown, Captain, but the mathematical patterns suggest it's a call for help." Lisa Martinez spoke up from the engineering station. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures from the direction of the signal. Whatever is out there, it's big." Jake made his decision quickly. "Set course for the signal, but keep our shields up and weapons ready. We don't know what we're walking into." The Liberty changed direction and headed toward the source of the mysterious transmission. As they got closer, their sensors began picking up more details. What they found made everyone on the bridge stop and stare. "Captain," Amy said in a whisper, "you need to see this." On the main screen appeared the largest ship any of them had ever seen. It was at least 20 times bigger than the Liberty. The hull was made of a dark metal that seemed to drink in the light from nearby stars. Strange symbols covered the surface, glowing with a soft blue light. "It's beautiful," whispered Dr. Patricia Kane, the ship's doctor and xenobiologist. "And terrifying." Danny Rodriguez, the security chief, was studying the tactical readings. "Captain, this ship has enough firepower to destroy a small moon, but it's not targeting us. In fact, it doesn't seem to be active at all." Jake stared at the alien vessel. Something about it felt familiar, though he couldn't say why. "Any signs of life?" "The ship appears to be running on emergency power only," Lisa reported. "Life support is minimal. If anyone is alive over there, they won't be for much longer." Jake felt a pull toward the mysterious ship. Every instinct told him to be careful, but something deeper urged him forward. "Prepare a boarding party. Lisa, Ryan, Danny, Patricia, and Kevin come with me. Amy, you have the bridge." Amy Carter nodded. "Be careful, Captain. Something about this doesn't feel right." Jake and his team suited up in the shuttle bay. Their environment suits were the best Earth had to offer, but Jake still felt nervous as they approached the alien ship. The vessel was even more impressive. Up close, the metal hull seemed to pulse with inner life. "There," Danny pointed to what looked like an airlock. "That seems designed for beings about our size." Lisa worked at the controls while the others watched nervously. "These symbols are strange, but the logic is similar to our systems. It's like whoever built this thought the same way we do." The airlock opened with a sound like thunder. "Emergency." Lights came on inside, casting red shadows on the walls. The team moved carefully through the corridors. Their footsteps echoed in the silence. "The air is breathable," Patricia said, checking her instruments. "Oxygen, nitrogen, similar pressure. To Earth. Whoever lived here had the same needs we do." They found themselves in a huge room filled with control stations. Everything was covered in dust, but the equipment looked like it could still work. In the center of the room was a raised platform with a single chair. Ryan approached one of the control panels. As soon as he got close, it lit up with information. "Captain, look at this. It's a star map, but it shows thousands of systems we've never seen before." Jake walked to the central platform. As he got closer, more systems came online. Suddenly, the room filled with a gentle humming sound. A holographic display appeared above the platform, showing images of space battles and strange worlds. "These are historical records," Patricia said, studying the images. "This ship has seen combat across the galaxy." Lisa was examining the engineering systems when she made a shocking discovery. "Captain, the power source for this ship is incredible. It seems to pull energy from the fabric of space itself. With this technology, we could travel anywhere in the galaxy instantly." Danny was looking at the weapon systems. "Captain, these guns are beyond anything we've ever imagined. They don't just destroy targets, they seem to erase them from existence." Kevin Walsh, their communications officer, was working at what looked like a computer terminal. "Captain, I'm finding records here. Ship logs, personal messages, technical manuals. But, Captain, the language, it's not completely alien." Jake felt his heart stop. "What do you mean?" "Some of these symbols, Captain. They're similar to ancient human languages. Very ancient, like they came from Earth thousands of years ago." Patricia was running tests on samples she had found. "Captain, I'm finding genetic material here. DNA samples. They're definitely human, but they're old. Very, very old." Jake looked around the command center with new eyes. The size of the stations, the height of the controls, the design of the chairs. Everything was made for beings exactly like humans. Suddenly, Kevin's communicator crackled with Amy's voice from the Liberty. "Captain, we have company. 6 alien ships just dropped out of hyperspace. They're moving toward us fast." Jake's blood went cold. "What kind of ships?" "Unknown design, Captain. But they're big, and their weapons are charged. They're sending us a message." A harsh alien voice filled their communicators. "Human vessel, you are in violation of hegemony space law. The derelict ship is forbidden to primitive species. Leave immediately or be destroyed." Jake looked at his team, then at the incredible technology surrounding them. Whatever this ship was, these aliens clearly feared humans having it. "Team, download everything you can. We're not leaving empty-handed." As his crew worked frantically to gather information, Jake realized that humanity was about to discover something that would change everything they thought they knew about themselves and their place in the universe. The alien ships moved closer to the Liberty like hungry sharks circling their prey. Captain Jake Harrison watched the tactical display from inside the ancient warship, his heart pounding as he counted 6 vessels, each one larger than his own. "Ship! Captain, they're powering up weapons," Danny Rodriguez reported through the communicator. His voice was tense but steady. "Amy is asking for orders." Jake looked around the command center of the mysterious vessel. His team was still downloading information from the alien computers, their faces lit by the glow of holographic displays. Every instinct told him to run, but something deeper kept him rooted in place. "Tell Amy to hold position but keep our shields up," Jake ordered. "We're not leaving yet." Lisa Martinez was working frantically at an engineering console. "Captain, I'm getting readings I don't understand. This ship's power systems are unlike anything we've ever seen. It's like the entire vessel is one giant battery." Ryan Brooks looked up from his analysis station. "Captain, these records are incredible. This ship fought in battles across the galaxy. According to these logs, it was part of a massive fleet that once controlled hundreds of star systems. Dr. Patricia Kane was examining biological samples she had found in what looked like a medical bay. "Captain, the genetic material I'm finding here isn't just human. It's specifically from Earth. These people came from our home world." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "How is that possible? Humans have never traveled this far from Earth." "According to these records, they did," Patricia replied. "Thousands of years ago, long before our current civilization even existed." "Kevin," Walsh called out from across the room. "Captain, I'm breaking through more of their computer systems. There are star charts here showing the locations of dozens of human colonies, but they're all marked as lost or destroyed." The communicator crackled with Amy's voice again. "Captain, the alien ships are hailing us. They want to talk." "Put them through," Jake ordered. A cold, mechanical voice filled the command center. "Human Captain, I am Commander Vex of the Hegemony Patrol Fleet. You and your crew will leave the forbidden vessel immediately and submit to escort back to your home system." Jake activated his communicator. "This is Captain Harrison of the UES Liberty. We found this ship sending a distress signal. We're conducting a rescue operation." "There is no one to rescue, human. That vessel has been dead for 3,000 of your years. It belongs to the extinct human empire that once threatened galactic peace. No primitive species may possess such technology." Jake felt anger building in his chest. "Primitive? We're conducting a legal salvage operation in open space." "You misunderstand your position, Captain Harrison. The hegemony has ruled this galaxy for millennia. Humans are newcomers here, barely evolved beyond your home planet. You will comply or be destroyed." Danny's voice came through the communicator. "Captain, they're moving into attack formation. Amy wants to know if we should run." Jake was about to give the order to retreat when something unexpected happened. The command center around them began to hum with new energy. Lights that had been dim for thousands of years suddenly blazed to life. Control panels that had been dark started glowing with information. "What's happening?" Lisa asked, stepping back from her console as it activated on its own. A new voice filled the command center. It was warm and human, but with an odd quality that made it seem to come from everywhere at once. "Greetings, children of Earth. I am Guardian, the intelligence of this vessel. I have been waiting for your kind to return to the stars." Jake and his team looked around in amazement. The ancient ship was coming alive around them. "Guardian," Jake said carefully, "are you alive?" "I am an artificial intelligence created by your ancestors to protect their legacy. When the great empire fell, I was ordered to wait until humans once again ventured into deep space." Patricia stepped forward. "Our ancestors? You mean the people who built this ship were really from Earth?" "Indeed, Dr. Kane. Humanity once ruled a vast interstellar empire. Your species reached heights of technology and civilization that few others have achieved. But that empire fell long ago, and the knowledge was lost." Ryan was staring at his displays in wonder. "Guardian, why did the empire fall? What happened to all those human colonies?" "War, Dr. Brooks. The other species of the galaxy feared human potential. They formed the hegemony to contain and eventually destroy human civilization. They succeeded, but not completely. Ships like this one were hidden throughout the galaxy, waiting for humanity's return." The communicator crackled again with Commander Vex's voice. "Human vessel, you have 30 seconds to comply or we will open fire." Guardian's voice took on a different tone. "Captain Harrison, do you wish me to defend this vessel and your ship?" Jake hesitated. Starting a fight with 6 alien warships seemed like suicide, but something about Guardian's confidence made him pause. "What can you do?" Jake asked. "I can show the hegemony why they once feared humanity." Before Jake could respond, he felt the deck plates vibrate beneath his feet. The ancient warship was powering up systems that had been dormant for thousands of years. Through the viewports, he could see weapons emerging from hidden ports along the ship's hull. "Guardian." "Wait!" Jake started to say, but it was too late. Beams of pure energy lanced out from the ancient vessel toward the hegemony ships. The weapons didn't look like anything Jake had ever seen. They seemed to bend space itself, creating ripples in reality that reached out toward their targets. The first hegemony ship simply vanished. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, leaving no debris behind. "Impossible." Commander Vex's voice came through the communicator, now filled with fear instead of arrogance. The second beam struck another hegemony vessel. This one didn't disappear. Instead, it seemed to fold in on itself like a piece of paper being crumpled up. Within seconds, the massive warship had been compressed into a sphere no bigger than a basketball. "All ships, retreat!" Commander Vex ordered his remaining fleet. "Send word to High Command. The humans have awakened the ancient weapons." The surviving hegemony ships turned and fled, disappearing into hyperspace as quickly as they had arrived. Jake and his team stood in stunned silence. In less than a minute, Guardian had destroyed 2 enemy warships and sent the others running in terror. "Guardian," Jake said slowly, "what have you just done?" "I have defended humanity as I was programmed to do, Captain. But this is only the beginning. Word of this encounter will spread throughout the galaxy. The hegemony will return with larger fleets." Lisa was checking her readings. "Captain, this ship is drawing massive amounts of energy from somewhere. I can't even measure the power levels." "The technology you see here is your birthright," Guardian explained. "Your ancestors developed weapons and engines that the current galactic powers cannot match. But with this power comes great responsibility." Patricia was examining new data that had appeared on her console. "Guardian, are there other ships like this one?" "Hundreds," Dr. Kane. "Hidden throughout the galaxy, waiting for the right time to awaken. Each one contains an AI guardian like myself, programmed to serve humanity's descendants." Jake felt the weight of destiny settling on his shoulders. In the space of a few hours, he had gone from a simple exploration captain to potentially the leader of humanity's return to galactic power. "What happens now?" Jake asked. "Now, Captain Harrison, you must choose. You can return to Earth with the knowledge you have gained and live quietly, or you can help me awaken the sleeping fleet and reclaim humanity's place among the stars." Jake looked at his team, seeing determination in their eyes despite the fear. They had come looking for new worlds to explore. Instead, they had found their species' forgotten legacy. "How long do we have before the hegemony returns?" Jake asked. "Not long, Captain, but time enough to begin the awakening if you are willing." 3 days had passed since the encounter with the hegemony patrol fleet. Captain Jake Harrison stood in the command center of the ancient warship, watching as his crew learned to operate technology that seemed like magic. Guardian's holographic form flickered beside him, a tall figure made of blue light that looked remarkably human. "The neural interface is adapting well to your crew, Captain," Guardian said. "Dr. Brooks has mastered the navigation systems faster than any human I have seen." Ryan Brooks looked up from his station, sweat beading on his forehead. "It's incredible, Captain." I can feel the ship's sensors like they're part of my own body. We can see across entire star systems in real time. Lisa Martinez was working with the engineering systems, her hands dancing over controls that responded to her thoughts as much as her touch. Captain, the power core is beyond anything I imagined. It's drawing energy from the quantum vacuum itself. We could power Earth's entire civilization with just a fraction of this ship's output. Jake nodded, but his mind was on other concerns. Guardian, you said the hegemony would return with larger fleets. When? Soon, Captain. My long-range sensors are detecting massive fleet movements throughout this sector. The Hegemony Council has declared a state of emergency. They are mobilizing forces not seen since the fall of the original human empire. Dr. Patricia Kane looked up from her medical research station. Guardian, I've been studying the genetic samples found throughout the ship. These ancient humans were more advanced than modern humanity. Their DNA shows improvements we've never seen before. Your ancestors modified themselves over many generations, Guardian explained. They enhanced their intelligence, reflexes, and lifespan. They were preparing humanity for the challenges of ruling a galactic empire. Danny Rodriguez was practicing with the weapon systems. Captain, these guns are incredible. I can target ships light years away and the beams arrive instantly. It's like they're shooting through folded space, Kevin Walsh called out from the communications station. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission from Earth. It's from Admiral Clark at Space Command. Jake felt his stomach tighten. Put it through, Admiral. Clark's stern face appeared on the main screen. His expression was a mixture of anger and disbelief. Captain Harrison, explain to me how your exploration mission has resulted in an alien armada heading toward Earth. Sir, we discovered something extraordinary. This ship contains technology that could change everything for humanity. What I see, Captain, is that you've started a war we can't possibly win. Intelligence reports indicate at least 300 alien warships are converging on this sector. They're demanding that we surrender you and your crew immediately. Jake looked around at his team, then back at the Admiral. Sir, this ship alone destroyed 2 of their vessels without taking any damage. The technology here could level the playing field. 1 ship, Captain, against hundreds. The math doesn't work in our favor. Guardian stepped forward, his holographic form becoming more solid. Admiral Clark, I am Guardian, the artificial intelligence of this vessel. Perhaps I can provide some perspective. Admiral Clark's eyes widened. What the hell is that thing? I'm humanity's inheritance, Admiral. This ship is one of hundreds hidden throughout the galaxy. Each contains weapons and technology far superior to anything the hegemony possesses. Hundreds? Admiral Clark leaned forward. You're telling me there are hundreds of ships like this one? Indeed. The original human empire built them as insurance against exactly this kind of threat. They are scattered across dozens of star systems, waiting for the proper activation codes. Jake felt hope rising in his chest. Guardian, can you contact these other ships? I have already begun the awakening process, Captain. However, it will take time for the other AIs to fully activate their systems. We may have perhaps a week before the main hegemony fleet arrives. Admiral Clark was quiet for a long moment. Captain Harrison, I'm ordering you to return to Earth immediately. We need to prepare our defenses. Sir, with respect, Earth's defenses won't stop a fleet of 300 ships. Our only chance is to awaken as many of these ancient vessels as possible. Captain, you're talking about technology we don't understand, controlled by an alien artificial intelligence. How do we know we can trust it? Guardian's voice carried a note of sadness. Admiral, I understand your caution, but I was created by humans, for humans. My sole purpose is to protect and serve humanity. I have waited 3,000 years for your species to return to the stars." Patricia looked up from her research. "Admiral, the genetic evidence is conclusive. The builders of this ship were definitely human, our ancestors." Ryan added, "Sir, the star charts show the locations of dozens of human colonies that existed thousands of years ago. We're not just finding alien technology. We're reclaiming our own heritage." Admiral Clark rubbed his temples. "This is beyond anything we prepared for. Captain, I'm giving you 48 hours to gather what information you can. Then I want you back in Earth space." "Sir, 48 hours might not be enough. Guardian says the awakening process..." "48 hours, Captain. That's an order." The transmission ended, leaving Jake and his crew alone with Guardian. "Captain," Guardian said, "I must inform you of something the Admiral should know. The hegemony fleet approaching Earth is not just coming to capture this ship. They intend to destroy human civilization completely." Jake felt cold fear wash over him. "What do you mean?" "I have intercepted their communications. The Hegemony Council has decided that humanity poses too great a threat to be allowed to exist. They plan to sterilize Earth and all human colonies." Lisa stood up from her console. "They can't do that. That's genocide." "The Hegemony has done it before," Guardian replied. "It is how they dealt with the original human empire. They systematically destroyed every human world until only Earth remained, and Earth was so primitive at the time that they ignored it." Danny's face was hard with anger. "How many ships do we need to stop them?" "A minimum of 50 ancient vessels would be required to face their main fleet with confidence. I have awakened 23 so far, but they are scattered across many star systems." Jake made his decision. "Guardian, forget Admiral Clark's orders. We need to awaken as many ships as possible. Can you guide us to the nearest ones?" "Captain, disobeying direct orders could result in court-martial," Kevin warned. "Court-martial won't matter if Earth is destroyed," Jake replied. "Guardian, how long to reach the nearest ship?" "Approximately 6 hours at maximum speed." "But, Captain, I should warn you that the other AI Guardians may not immediately accept your authority. They have been alone for a very long time." Ryan was studying the navigation charts. "Captain, there's a cluster of 3 ships in a system about 12 hours away. If we could awaken all 3 at once." "Do it," Jake ordered. "Set course for the nearest ship. Amy, signal the Liberty to follow us." Amy Carter's voice came through the communicator. "Captain, are you sure about this? We're going to be in a lot of trouble when we get back to Earth." "Amy, if we don't do this, there might not be an Earth to go back to." As the ancient warship powered up its incredible engines, Jake felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He was no longer just an exploration captain. He had become the leader of humanity's fight for survival. Guardian stood beside him as they watched the stars begin to move. "Captain, you should know that awakening the fleet will not go unnoticed. The hegemony will send ships to stop us." "Let them come," Jake said grimly. "It's time they remembered why they feared humanity in the first place." The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying Jake and his crew toward their destiny among the stars. The ancient warship dropped out of hyperspace near a red giant star. Captain Jake Harrison looked at the tactical display, counting the massive vessels that hung in space like sleeping dragons. 3 enormous ships floated in formation, each one larger than the vessel he now commanded. "Guardian, they're beautiful," Dr. Patricia Kane whispered from her station. The ships were different designs from their own, but clearly built by the same civilization. One looked like a massive sword, another resembled a giant hammer, and the third was shaped like a curved blade. the Sword of Terra, Hammer of Justice, and Crescent Moon, Guardian said with pride in his voice. 3 of the most powerful ships ever built by humanity. They have been sleeping here for 3,000 years. Ryan Brooks was studying the sensor readings. Captain, I'm detecting faint power signatures from all 3 ships. Their AI systems are still active. Can you contact them? Jake asked Guardian. I am trying, Captain, but they may not trust easily. They have been alone for a very long time, and the last humans they knew betrayed the Empire to the hegemony. Lisa Martinez looked up from her engineering console. Captain, we have a problem. I'm detecting multiple hyperspace signatures approaching this system. Large ones. Danny Rodriguez checked his weapons display. Hegemony ships? Confirmed. Guardian replied. A battle group of 30 vessels. They are moving to intercept us. Jake felt his heart race. 30 ships against 4, and 3 of their vessels weren't even awake yet. How long do we have? 15 minutes until they arrive in weapons range, Amy Carter reported from the Liberty. Guardian's holographic form flickered with urgency. Captain, I am sending activation codes to the 3 sleeper ships now, but the awakening process takes time. Suddenly, the Sword of Terra began to glow with inner light. Weapon ports opened along its hull and its engines came to life. A new voice filled the command center, cold and military. This is Admiral Sarah Johnson of the Sword of Terra. Identify yourself immediately or be destroyed. Guardian stepped forward. Admiral Johnson, I am Guardian of the ship Titan's Rest. These humans are descendants of Earth, returned to reclaim their heritage. Impossible. All human colonies were destroyed. Earth was bombed into the Stone Age. There are no humans left capable of space travel. Jake activated his communicator. Admiral Johnson, this is Captain Jake Harrison of the UES Liberty. We're from Earth, and we need your help. There was a long pause. Earth still exists? Yes, Admiral. Humanity survived and rebuilt. We've returned to the stars. Patricia quickly transmitted genetic data to the Sword of Terra. Admiral, these are our DNA scans. We are definitely human. Another pause. Then Admiral Johnson's voice carried new emotion. My God! You really are human. Children of Earth. After all these years. The Hammer of Justice suddenly blazed to life, its massive form bristling with weapons. A gruff male voice joined the conversation. This is General Tony Garcia of the Hammer of Justice. Guardian, are these humans telling the truth? Yes, General. They discovered my ship and awakened me. Now we face the same threat that destroyed the original empire. The 3rd ship, Crescent Moon, activated more slowly. When its AI spoke, the voice was female and cautious. I am Commander Laura Davis of the Crescent Moon. Guardian, I sense hegemony ships approaching. Are we under attack? 30 ships, Commander. They seek to prevent the awakening of our fleet. Jake looked at the tactical display as the hegemony forces dropped out of hyperspace. Their ships formed a battle line, weapons charged and ready. Human vessels, came a harsh alien voice over the communications channel. You are in violation of hegemony law. Surrender immediately or face destruction. Admiral Johnson's voice turned cold as ice. Hegemony scum! You thought you had wiped us out completely. The ancient human ships will be destroyed along with these. New primitives, the alien commander replied. The galaxy will be cleansed of your kind once and for all. Jake watched as the 3 awakened ships moved into combat formation. Their movements were precise and deadly, like wolves preparing to hunt. Captain Harrison, Admiral Johnson said, take your ship and the Liberty to safety. We will handle the hegemony. Admiral, with respect. We're not running. This is our fight. 2. General Garcia laughed grimly. I like these new humans, Johnson. They have spirit. The hegemony ships opened fire first, sending streams of energy toward the human vessels. But the ancient ships were ready. Their shields absorbed the attacks easily, barely flickering under the assault. Our turn, Admiral Johnson said. The sword of Terra fired a single beam of pure white light. The energy struck the lead hegemony ship and simply erased it from existence. No explosion, no debris. It was there one moment and gone the next. The hammer of justice launched what looked like golden spheres toward a group of enemy ships. When the spheres reached their targets, they expanded into bubbles of destructive force. 5 more hegemony vessels vanished in flashes of light. Commander Davis guided the crescent moon through the enemy formation like a dancer. Her ship's weapons seemed to bend space itself, creating tears in reality that swallowed enemy vessels. Hole! Retreat! All ships retreat! The hegemony commander screamed. But it was too late. The 3 ancient warships moved through the enemy fleet like death itself. In less than 5 minutes, all 30 hegemony ships had been destroyed or disabled. Jake stared at the empty space where the enemy fleet had been. Guardian, is it always that easy? When properly awakened and coordinated, captain human ships are the most powerful weapons in the galaxy. This is why the hegemony feared us. Admiral Johnson's voice carried satisfaction. It feels good to fight again. Guardian, how many of our ships have you awakened? 26 so far, Admiral. But the main hegemony fleet number's in the hundreds. We need more ships before they reach Earth. Commander Davis spoke up. Guardian, I know the locations of 12 more ships within 2 days' travel. We should move quickly. General Garcia agreed. Time is our enemy now. How long before the hegemony reaches Earth? 4 days at most, Guardian replied. But they may send advance forces sooner. Jake made his decision. We split up. Guardian and I will continue awakening ships. Admiral Johnson, can you and the others return to Earth and begin preparing defenses? Captain Harrison, with respect, you're not qualified to command this operation. I outrank you by several centuries. Jake felt a moment of uncertainty, but Guardian spoke up. Admiral, Captain Harrison discovered my ship and chose to awaken the fleet despite orders from his superiors. He has proven his commitment to humanity's survival. Admiral Johnson was quiet for a moment. Very well, Captain. You have earned the right to lead this mission. But I suggest we work together rather than split our forces. Agreed, Jake replied. Guardian, plot a course for the nearest group of sleeper ships. As the small human fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Jake felt the weight of history on his shoulders. Humanity was awakening to reclaim its place in the galaxy, but the cost would be measured in the lives of billions. Ryan Brooks looked at his navigation display. Captain, I'm reading massive hyperspace signatures throughout this region. Word of our awakening is spreading. Friend or foe? Jake asked. Unknown, Captain, but they're all heading in our direction. Guardian's voice carried warning. Captain, the galaxy is about to discover that humanity has returned. Not all species will welcome our awakening. Jake looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere among them lay the fate of his species. Then we better wake up enough ships to make sure they respect our right to exist. Captain Jake Harrison stood on the bridge of Titan's Rest, watching as 57 ancient human warships formed up around Earth. The planet looked so small and blue against the black of space, but it was home to billions of people who had no idea their fate hung in the balance. Guardian, are you detecting the hegemony fleet yet? Jake asked. The AI's holographic form flickered with concentration. Yes, Captain. Over 400 ships approaching from multiple directions. They will arrive in 6 hours. Admiral Sarah, Johnson's voice came through the communications system from the Sword of Terra. Captain Harrison, our awakened fleet is impressive, but we're still outnumbered 8-1. Jake looked at the tactical display showing the positions of their ships. Each ancient vessel bristled with weapons that could destroy planets, but he knew that numbers mattered in space combat. Guardian, are there any more ships we can awaken in time? Negative, Captain. The remaining sleeper ships are too far away. However, I have been monitoring communications throughout the galaxy. Several alien species are requesting permission to join our fight. Dr. Patricia Kane looked up from her science station. Alien species want to help us? The Zephyrian Federation, the Crystalline Collective, and the Free Worlds Alliance have all sent messages. They have been under hegemony rule for centuries and see this as their chance for freedom. Ryan Brooks was studying incoming sensor data. Captain, I'm detecting hyperspace signatures, multiple fleets approaching from different directions. Hegemony reinforcements? Danny Rodriguez asked, his hand moving to the weapon controls. Unknown, Ryan replied. The signatures don't match hegemony designs. Guardian's form brightened. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the approaching fleets. They are the alien allies I mentioned. Jake felt a surge of hope. Put them through, the main screen, filled with the image of a tall, graceful being with silver skin and large, kind eyes. Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Ambassador Zenkari of the Zephyrian Federation. We offer our assistance in your fight against the hegemony. A second image appeared, showing a being that looked like living crystal. I am Shard Singer Veltar of the Crystalline Collective. Our people have waited long for someone to challenge hegemony tyranny. A third alien appeared, this one resembling a large cat with golden fur. I am War Chief Korthok of the Free Worlds Alliance. The hegemony has enslaved too many worlds. We stand with humanity. Jake felt overwhelmed by this unexpected support. Ambassadors, we welcome your help, but I must warn you, this will be a dangerous battle. Ambassador Zenkari smiled. Captain Harrison, our combined fleets number over 200 ships. Together, we have a chance to end hegemony rule forever. General Tony Garcia's gruff voice came from the Hammer of Justice. Captain, sensors show the alien allied fleets are taking positions around Earth. We're not alone in this fight anymore, Lisa Martinez called out from her engineering station. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the ancient ships. All AIs are coordinating their power systems. Guardian explained, we are linking our shields and weapons into a single defensive network. Each ship becomes stronger when connected to the others. Commander Laura Davis spoke from the Crescent Moon. Captain Harrison, the hegemony fleet has dropped out of hyperspace. They're forming attack formations on the edge of the solar system. Jake studied the tactical display. The hegemony fleet was enormous, stretching across space like a dark cloud. Their ships were arranged in perfect military formation, ready to destroy everything in their path. All ships. This is Captain Harrison, Jake announced on the fleet-wide channel. Today we fight not just for Earth, but for the freedom of every species in the galaxy. Show them that humanity will never surrender. The hegemony commander's voice filled all communication channels. Humans and rebel species, you face the full might of the hegemony. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick. Admiral Johnson's response was cold as space. The only ones dying today will be hegemony oppressors. The battle began when the hegemony fleet opened fire from extreme range, thousands of energy beams, and missiles streaked toward Earth and the defending fleets. But the ancient human ships had linked their shields, creating a barrier of pure energy that absorbed the attacks. "Now," Jake ordered. The human fleet fired as one. 57 beams of impossible energy reached across space, each one guided by an AI with thousands of years of combat experience. Hegemony ships began exploding or simply vanishing as the ancient weapons found their targets. The allied alien fleets joined the attack. Zephyrian ships fired bursts of silver light that turned hegemony vessels into harmless gas. The crystalline, collective launched shards that multiplied in flight, each piece becoming a guided missile. The Free Worlds Alliance used weapons that created small black holes, pulling enemy ships into destruction, but the hegemony had numbers on their side. For every ship they lost, 2 more took its place. The Allied forces began taking casualties as overwhelming firepower broke through their defenses. "Captain," Amy Carter called from the Liberty, "we're losing ships. The Zephyrians have lost 12 vessels, and the Free Worlds Alliance is down by 8. Jake watched the battle rage around Earth. Despite their advanced technology, they were slowly being pushed back. Guardian's voice carried urgency. "Captain, I am detecting something unusual. The hegemony ships are not just trying to destroy us. They are forming a bombardment pattern around Earth." Jake felt ice in his veins. "They're going to destroy the planet." "Confirmed, Captain. In approximately 10 minutes, they will have enough ships in position to sterilize Earth's surface." Patricia looked up from her console with determination. "Captain, I've been studying the genetic data from the ancient ships. There's something Guardian hasn't told us about the original human empire." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "The humans who built these ships didn't just disappear. According to these records, they evolved beyond physical form. They became beings of pure energy." Guardian's form flickered. "Dr. Kane is correct. The original humans transcended physical existence, but they promised to return if their descendants ever faced extinction." Suddenly, space around Earth began to glow with golden light. The light formed into shapes that looked almost human but made of pure energy. They were enormous, each figure the size of a starship. The hegemony fleet stopped firing, their commanders too shocked to give orders. One of the energy beings spoke, its voice reaching every ship in the system. "Children of Earth, we have watched your struggle. The time has come for us to fulfill our ancient promise." The energy beings moved through space like living stars. When they touched hegemony ships, the vessels simply faded away, not destroyed, but transformed into something else entirely. Within minutes, the massive hegemony fleet had been neutralized. Their ships hung motionless in space, their crews alive but their weapons powerless. The lead energy being turned toward Earth. "Children of our children, humanity has proven itself worthy of its heritage. The galaxy is yours to explore and protect, but remember, with great power comes the responsibility to help others find their own path to the stars." Jake felt tears on his cheeks as he realized what had happened. Humanity had not just survived. They had been welcomed back into their cosmic inheritance by ancestors who had never truly left them. Guardian's voice was filled with joy. "Captain, the galaxy is free. The hegemony's reign of terror is over, and humanity has taken its rightful place among the stars." As Jake looked out at the peaceful space around Earth, he knew that this was not the end of their journey, but the beginning of a new chapter in human history. 6 months had passed since the great battle over Earth. Captain Jake Harrison walked through the corridors of New Geneva Station, the massive space station that now served as the headquarters for the Galactic Freedom Alliance. The station was a marvel of combined technology, built using both ancient human designs and contributions from their alien allies. "Captain Harrison," called Ambassador Zenkari as she approached with her graceful stride, "the Council is ready for your report on the exploration missions." Jake nodded and followed the Zephyrian diplomat toward the Council chambers. The halls were filled with beings from dozens of different species, all working together to rebuild the galaxy after the fall of the hegemony. In the council chamber, Jake took his place at the large circular table. Admiral Sarah Johnson sat too. His right, her ancient ship now serving as the flagship of humanity's exploration fleet. General Tony Garcia and Commander Laura Davis were present via hologram, commanding their own fleets in distant sectors of the galaxy. "The exploration missions have been more successful than we hoped," Jake began his report. "We've discovered 43 new worlds suitable for colonization and made contact with 17 species that were hidden during hegemony rule." War Chief Korthak leaned forward, his golden fur gleaming under the chamber lights. "What about the former hegemony worlds? Are they accepting the new order?" "Most are," Jake replied. "The species that were oppressed for centuries are grateful for their freedom. However, we're having problems with the core hegemony worlds. Some of their leaders refuse to accept that their empire has fallen." Shard Singer Veltar's crystalline form chimed softly. "The resistance movements are small but troublesome. They attack supply convoys and try to sabotage our rebuilding efforts." Guardian's holographic form appeared at the table. "I have been monitoring communications throughout the galaxy. The resistance groups are being supplied by someone with access to advanced technology." Admiral Johnson frowned. "More advanced than what we've seen from the hegemony?" "Yes, Admiral. These new weapons use principles I do not fully understand. They appear to manipulate time itself." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Guardian. Could there be another ancient civilization out there? Something older than the human empire? "It is possible, Captain. The galaxy is vast, and even the original human empire did not explore all of it." Dr. Patricia Kane, who now served as head of galactic xenobiology, spoke up from her seat. "I've been studying reports from the Outer Rim territories. There are ruins out there that predate any known civilization. Some of them show signs of technology beyond anything we've encountered." Ryan Brooks, now serving as head of navigation for the exploration fleet, nodded in agreement. "Captain, the star charts we recovered from the ancient ships show empty spaces in certain sectors, areas marked as forbidden even to the original human empire." Lisa Martinez, who had become the chief engineer for the Alliance, added her concerns. "The energy signatures from these attacks don't match any known technology. Whatever is powering these new weapons draws energy from sources we can't identify." Jake looked around the table at his friends and allies. "Are we talking about a threat to the Alliance?" Guardian's form flickered with uncertainty. "Unknown, Captain. But I recommend we investigate these phenomena before they become a larger problem." Ambassador Zenkari spoke carefully. "Captain Harrison, the Zephyrian Federation has ancient records that speak of the Builders, a race that existed before any current species evolved. They supposedly left the galaxy long ago, but some scholars believe they may return one day." War Chief Korthak growled softly. "The free worlds have similar legends, stories of beings who shaped stars and created worlds. We always thought they were myths." Jake made his decision. "Guardian, I want you to work with our allies to compile all available information about these builders. Lisa, prepare a small exploration fleet with our most advanced ships. We're going to investigate these forbidden sectors. Captain, Admiral Johnson said with concern, is it wise to go looking for trouble? We've just achieved peace in the galaxy. Admiral, if there's a threat out there, it's better we find it before it finds us. The attacks on our supply convoys prove that someone doesn't want the galaxy to unite under peaceful rule. Danny Rodriguez, now head of Alliance Security, spoke up. Captain, I've been analyzing the attack patterns. Whoever is behind this knows our fleet movements and supply routes. They have intelligence about our operations. Kevin Walsh, who had become the Alliance's chief communications officer, nodded grimly. I've detected several intercepted transmissions. Someone is definitely watching us and reporting our activities. Jake stood up from the table. Then we have a spy problem as well as an ancient mystery to solve. Guardian, begin preparing for the expedition. I want our best people and most advanced ships. As the council meeting ended, Jake walked to the observation deck of the station. Earth hung in space before him, peaceful and blue. But he couldn't shake the feeling that their recent victory was only the beginning of a much larger story. Patricia joined him at the viewing window. Jake, are you sure about this? We've just achieved something incredible. Maybe we should focus on consolidating our gains instead of looking for new dangers. Patricia, think about what we've learned. The original human empire was incredibly advanced, but something made them evolve beyond physical form. What if they weren't just evolving naturally? What if they were preparing for something? Guardian appeared beside them. Captain, I have been analyzing the data from our allies. There are patterns in the ancient ruins that suggest the builders did not leave voluntarily. They may have been forced to abandon this galaxy. Forced by what? Jake asked. Unknown. But the energy signatures we're detecting from the resistance attacks match residual traces found in some of the oldest ruins. It is possible that whatever drove away the builders has returned. Jake looked out at the stars, each one representing thousands of worlds and billions of lives now under the protection of the Alliance. Then we need to be ready. How long to prepare the expedition? 2 weeks, Captain. I recommend taking a small fleet of our most advanced ships, including representatives from each allied species. Do it. And Guardian, send a message to our evolved ancestors. They may have information about these builders that could help us. As Jake prepared for what might be humanity's greatest challenge yet, he reflected on how much had changed since that first day when they discovered the ancient warship. They had awakened a sleeping giant and reclaimed their place in the galaxy. But now, it seemed the galaxy itself might face a threat from beyond the stars. The next morning, Jake stood in the hangar bay watching as crews prepared the exploration ships. Admiral Johnson approached with a serious expression. Captain, I've been thinking about our conversation yesterday. Maybe the reason the original humans evolved beyond physical form wasn't just natural progression. Maybe they were preparing to face something that required abilities beyond what normal matter could provide. Jake nodded. That's what I'm afraid of, Admiral. And if we're right, then our recent victory over the hegemony may have just announced to the universe that Earth is inhabited again. As the preparations continued, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something that would change not just the galaxy, but the entire universe.